Hey everybody, a shave so scary that I am more terrified of this razor than I am of any of my straight razors. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back to Barber Dave's Barbershop at Home. We're going to do something a little bit different today. As I said in the intro, this razor scares me more than any of my straight razors. But before we get started, don't forget today's shave is brought to you by Nurse Dave's Shaving World, the most popular shaving world from PG&E Electrical Company in the San Francisco area. It's an inside joke, don't worry about it. But all crisis has been averted. Dave has gotten what he was expecting, and everything should be okay. Anyways, we're going to do kind of a retro shave today. And this is the razor that terrifies me more than any razor I own. And that is the EverReady 1912 single edge. Now, this has got a gem blade in it. Now, these gem blades are as strong as anything. And look at the blade on that thing. This razor is commonly known to most people as a sushi cutter. So you have to be real careful. And these are more angle dependent than I think straight razors. So for me, this is a terrifying razor, but it's in great, great shape. I was fortunate enough to find this at a movie set, Old Tucson. So who knows if this was in a movie at one time or not. And it's in just absolutely gorgeous case, and I've got the case and everything with it. So we're going to kind of go old school shave today too. But you know what? With that old school shave, I'm just not getting the feel. So you know what? Let's try this. So anyway, that's better. Much more realistic. So anyhow, for the brush today, we are going to be using a rubber set 404 with a TGN finest knot. And to stay with the old school theme, we're going to go with Mitchell's Wool Fat. And then for the aftershave, we're going to be using Sir Irish Moose, Da Moose. And then really keeping it old school, almost to the point of a coffin, we're going to be using Eucris for our EDT. And we're also going to be including some lavender in there as well. So anyhow, I hope everybody's doing well. And we had talked about Mitchell's Wool Fat, and I wanted to load it on, I know I've done a video of it, but I wanted to load it on camera just to show you how quickly you can get with Mitchell's Wool Fat to get beautiful. And I did pre-soak the puck, but the brush is reasonably dry. And I load heavy with Mitchell's because I think it's better that way. And I load this brush all the way down to the core, and we'll see how it comes out. So there's the preload. And it just went on the floor. It's going to be one of those types of days. Yay! Let's try this again. Okay. Crisis averted. See, Dave got me so worked up about his delivery that I'm all verklempt. So I hope everybody's doing well for a Tuesday. Cool thing is I've got one more day before I have to go back to the shop. So I'm not going back to the shop till Thursday. So you guys may have to put up with another shave for me tomorrow. As I've said before, I think with Mitchell's Wool Fat, I find that it works much, much better when it goes on a little pastier and a little drier in the beginning. And I do prefer face lathering it as to bowl lathering it. And then I just add little drips of water. and work it through a few times. To get the water right. And I think, like I said, overall, I think you can get real great lather out of this soap. And if you don't have a lanolin aversion to this soap, you can really rub it in, and it really softens everything up. Go just about there. Also, before we get started, I can't believe I forgot that. Don't forget, right down here, www.theshavingcadre.com. We'd certainly appreciate you joining us. And then over here, please like and subscribe by clicking on the barber pole with the cowboy hat. And then check out down here, you can ring the bell. Hopefully, pretty soon there'll be a thank button down here, but that's a little ways away. And then check out all the fine channels that I have listed in the descriptive section. We'd certainly appreciate it in supporting their channels as well. Okay, I think we're just about done. I don't make this lather as thin as I normally do for a straight razor, but it's still pretty hydrated. Okay, so here we go. Like I said, on a gem razor, the angles are extremely important, and you almost need to hold it flat against your face. And what I do is I'll go to the top cap and I'll rub it, and then I'll kind of rotate my hand until I feel the blade engage, and then that's it. And also, if you have any facial accoutrements, i.e. moles or anything like that, make sure you map those out before you shave, because you won't have them otherwise. To me, the hardest part of this razor is when I'm rotating. Because you're trying to make sure that your curves are correct because of the blade gap and the blade exposure. And the width the grain pass is not that bad because you've got this curve that you can stick up in your neck and then rotate through. It's doing the opposite direction that gets kind of scary. And I don't shave with these types of single edge razors that much. Because for me, this razor was a collector, because it was given to me because my wife found it. At Old Tucson in their movie prop sales. So who knows what movie this was ever in. Now here's where it gets fun, especially around the lip area, because you can't obviously do that. So you have to kind of rotate it this way and get it underneath. This razor actually, aside from my straight razor, at one point when I was learning how to use it, had given me one of my most severe cuts because you just have to be so careful with it. But they're a blast to use. And you can find them. I think you can find these 1912s in decent shape for, I don't know, 40, 50 bucks. So they're a fun razor to have, and using the gem blades. Very aggressive, but probably no more aggressive than a strong open comb. Here's where it gets goofy, because this has been your guide. Now you have to kind of tilt it a little bit. But I do this similar to how I rotate through the flat blading on my straights. So as I get close up to my neck, I'll rotate the blade out. And it seems to work really, really well. And it eliminates a lot of cleanup, because this razor is very hard to do cleanup with. So believe it or not, this razor does, in my opinion, require quite a bit of technical getting used to, especially like I've got a mole right here and this blade is wider. So I almost have to lift up on one side of it to make sure I don't touch that mole, which in itself can cause an angle issue, which can cause a cut. I have noticed it does require, because there is no blade flex like you have with a DE or a feather type of blade. There is no blade flex at all. So if you don't have your wrist perfect, it's not going to forgive. And that's the main argument with these razors, is you can get away with some stuff on a DE or a feather type single. You can't get away with anything on this. You make one mistake, it's going to let you know. Whereas sometimes, especially in the lip area, when you're going over the plenum area right here, believe it or not, a DE blade or an SE blade will flex just a little bit. This won't. This is a lot like a wood planer, to be honest with you. And it's easy to miss certain parts because of the angles. So cleanup, like I said, cleanup is not always recommended, but you'll end up with a little bit less than a DS-BBS shave sometimes, depending on how you look at it. Well, the Mitchell's wool fat treated me well today, because it can be hit and miss, as I said in my tutorial about Williams, or Mitchell's rather. It can be hit or miss, but today it's just perfect. And just plenty of extra lather if you so desire. Add just a little bit of water to thin this out. There we go. Now here's where it gets scary when I'm doing my crossface. And again, sometimes you have to tilt and then kind of rotate through to get the blade to engage. And again, with my mole here, I have to lift, believe it or not, I have to lift up, which is not something I enjoy. And I found that I've had to go over areas again with this blade more so than my other blades. But as I said, it's really neat. To shave with a blade that was patented in 1912. This one is probably from the late 1920s, probably late 1920s, based on the cap. I could look at the numbers and figure it out, but it's too much of an enjoyable razor. Like I said, when you don't shave with it that often, it kind of makes the shave special. Now, here's where it gets fun on the Fool's Pass. Because there is so much blade gap, you got to be careful where you touch down at, because you could be taking off the top of your lip. And as I said, there's no blade flex at all. Okay, let's see how much cleanup we need. Nothing in the cheek area, just a little bit on the lip. And like I said, this razor requires a little bit more cleanup than most. A little bit on the neck, and believe it or not, a little bit on the chin. And that's expected with this razor. And you can kind of hear it. You can buff with this, but I'm very careful. This is not a razor that you can do J-hooks or anything like that. But you can flat blade it, kind of. But the combs get in the way. I would call this a BBS shave, not a definite DS BBS shave. In fact, this one probably borders on DFS, but it's still fun. So that's kind of the shave. And you know what? Let's go back to color. So anyhow, we'll get cleaned up here. We'll go over everything again. The key is also how the alum is going to hit you, because it can go hit or miss. Oh yeah, it's a little bit of a light up today, but not too crazy. Okay, and again, we're going to be using Quinn's Lavender today. Let that dry down a little bit. So again, for today, our shave was done with a EverReady 1912, and it's got this beautiful, if you can see it, this Art Deco type thing. To me, a Darwin is kind of a grail. This one is another one that I just think is an absolute wonder of a razor. The soap again today was good old Mitchell's Wool Fat, the good stuff in the coffret. The brush today was the Rubber Set 404 with a TGN Finest knot on the top of it, Badger. And then for our aftershave, this was actually given to me by, I think, CB Lindsay. You can't get the soap anymore, but Sir Irish Moos. And I know he makes a soap that gives homage to this. This has just got a real, I don't even know how to describe Sir Irish Moose. A lot of people say it's like Brute. I don't think it's anything like Brute, but it's got some pine. It's got some funkiness to it. It's, I don't know. It's just good stuff. For our talc today, we are going to be using Elegance. And this goes real well. This is more of just a kind of a basic powdery type scent, but it goes pretty well. Recently, as we talk about this, Heisai, Stephen on the cadre, it's been a long time since he had actually gone to an actual barber, and he had been suffering through the quick cuts, super cuts type of haircuts, and he finally went to a barber downtown, and he found a good one. And obviously at the end of a barbering, what we do is we, at all the edges, here, around the ears, down the back of the neck and side, we take hot lather and a straight razor to crisp up those lines. Not a lot of barbers still do it. A lot of them do it just in the back. But he found one that did the whole thing, so he was just enjoyed. So Stephen said he finally realizes now what going to a good barber is for. And so Stephen, for saying that, thank you so much. Okay, and let's get coffined. Yes, that's right, Eucris. Now there has been rumor, and I don't know how true that is, that at one point James Bond used Eucris. I can't find any notification that. Now, a lot of people say it's number 89 from Florist, but actually Bond himself in the books may have used it, but Ian Fleming was the big fan of this. This is a very old fragrance. Their shaving soap sucks, I'll tell you that right out of the gate, but this fragrance is floral. It's old. Now, a lot of people say it smells like ashes and old coffins and cobwebs. I don't think so. If you like vegetal, you'll love this. If you don't like vegetal, you still might like this. So anyhow, so that's our shave for the day. Basically our EverReady with a gem in it. I certainly hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a little bit longer today. So please come and see us at the Shaving Cadre. We certainly appreciate it. I'm Barber Dave. This has been Barber Dave's Barbershop at Home. We'll see you again real soon. Thank you so much.